The concept of teenager as a distinct life stage is a relatively recent invention, created by marketers in the 1940s to tap into a new consumer demographic.
That's not true. Teenagers have always existed. They're just a natural part of growing up.
Not as a distinct cultural and economic group, they haven't. Before the 1940s, young people were considered either children or adults, with no in-between stage.
But what about all the historical records of youth cultures and rebellions throughout history?
Those were different. They were mostly driven by social and economic factors, not by a manufactured demographic. The modern concept of teenager was created to sell products and ideas to a specific age group.
So you're saying that marketers just invented this whole stage of life to make money?
Exactly. And it's had a profound impact on how we treat young people legally, socially, and psychologically. We've created a whole industry around adolescence, with its own language, fashion, and culture.
But isn't that just a natural response to the changing needs of young people as they grow and develop?
No, it's not natural, it's manufactured. Marketers have created a false narrative around adolescence, portraying it as a time of rebellion and self-discovery, when in fact it's often a time of confusion and vulnerability.
So what's the harm in that? It's just a way of understanding and supporting young people.
The harm is that it's created a whole generation of people who are defined by their consumer habits and their ability to conform to certain cultural norms. We're not allowing young people to develop into independent adults. We're keeping them in a state of perpetual adolescence.
That's a pretty bleak view of things. Don't you think young people are capable of making their own decisions and forging their own paths?
Not when they're being constantly bombarded with messages telling them what to wear, what to listen to, and how to behave. We're not giving them the freedom to make their own choices. We're dictating what's cool and what's not.
So what's the solution? How do we stop this manufactured adolescence and allow young people to grow and develop naturally?
We need to stop treating young people as a consumer demographic and start treating them as individuals with their own unique needs and aspirations. We need to give them the freedom to make their own choices and forge their own paths without the influence of marketers and advertisers.
That's easier said than done. How do we make that happen?
It starts with a fundamental shift in how we think about adolescents and young people. We need to move away from the idea that they're a distinct demographic and start seeing them as individuals with their own strengths and weaknesses. We need to give them the support and guidance they need to develop into independent adults without trying to manipulate or control them.